Pistons traveled to Indiana to take on the Pacers. Meanwhile, Cleveland will be traveling down to Miami to take on the Heat. Welcome, everyone. I'm Andy from WagerTalk. We're going to break down a couple of NBA games. I've got a player prop to tell you about, and then I got a couple of strong opinions on the totals on actually both these games. So let's get into it. If you guys could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We have tons of videos coming out this time of year. Actually, we have tons of videos coming out all the time. Myself, I've already got my golf preview video out. We've got tons of college basketball videos and, of course, Super Bowl videos galore will be coming out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you get notified when these videos come out. So let's take a look at the Pacers and the Pistons. And I'm looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. And Indiana, 7-point favorite with a total whopping 230.5. So let's see what's going on with these teams. Couple of pretty big trends here and storylines. I guess the first we'll start with the Pistons is this is their fifth straight road game, but it's been kind of drawn out quite a bit. Their last home game was January 18th. So essentially they've been on the road for almost 10 days, playing games at Houston, at Atlanta, at Orlando, at Cleveland. And we might be looking at some tired legs from Detroit here. They won against Houston and Atlanta, but then they lost by 8 at Orlando, and they got blown out by 19 at Cleveland. So this is a tough little scheduling stretch for Detroit. Meanwhile, you look at the Pacers, 20 games, their last 20 games, they are 15-5, and their losses, nothing to sneeze at. They lost to San Antonio overseas, but they avenged that loss the very next game with a big-time win. Other than that, they lost to the Cavaliers, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Thunder. These are all top teams. So we looking at a Pacers team that has really turned their season around. They were very disappointing to start the year, but they are 25-20. They're on the uptick. They're healthy. They seem to have their crunch time lineup in check. And one of the most surprising things about this Pacers team, their last 10 games, they are second in the league in defensive rating. It's like, whoa, the Pacers are playing good defense? Look out, because we know their offense can click. But if these guys are starting to play good defense, this is a real legit team you're looking at. Detroit, on the other hand, is fifth. So you got two good defensive teams. Pacers, ninth in offensive rating, and the Pistons are 22nd. I'm going with the under 230 in this game. I think this is a little bit of a tough spot for Detroit. This road trip has just been long. Like no back-to-backs, couple days in between these games. It's just not a great traveling spot. You know, they were in Cleveland, now they're in Indiana, and it's just a tough Eastern Conference swing here, and only putting up 91 points in the last game does not give me a lot of confidence here. So they went easily under this total against Cleveland, easily under against Atlanta, easily under against Houston. So they've only gone over this total one time on this road trip. Meanwhile, we talked about the Pacers, who have been playing, good defense in the last few games. Really, their only two blemishes are an overseas game and a Cleveland game. So they could get good defense from the Pacers, and I think this Detroit team isn't going to be able to put up a lot of points. And these teams played just on January 16th, final score 111-100, nowhere near this total. So we'll be taking the under 230 in this one. We're also going to move to the Cleveland Cavaliers here, and I've got a 30-day special to tell you guys about after this game here. So we're going to take a look at the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat, but they've won a couple in a row here. So this is a Heat team that just seems to thrive under pressure and thrive under adversity. So we take a look at the WagerTalk live odds page. Miami is an 8-point underdog at home, despite losing two straight. And despite the Cleveland Cavaliers kind of struggling a little bit, over-under is at 227.5. So let's see what's going on with Cleveland here. They might have kind of lost their pace to put on a big season record win total here. They've already got 9 losses. They dropped 3 in a row to Houston, to Philly, and to Houston again. So they do get back on track with that win against Detroit, but maybe a little bit of a lull here for Cleveland, as they were, easily the hottest team in the league. But NBA season is a grind, man, and it's just so hard to keep up greatness for each and every night throughout the season. So, we're looking at these last few games from Cleveland. They lost 3 out of 4 before that. They beat Phoenix, they beat Minnesota, but they do lose by 20 to OKC. They split with Indiana. So it might be a pretty good chance for them to kind of catch their breath and catch their legs. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat, 2 wins in a row, Brooklyn and Orlando. And when I look at these two teams, the last 5 games, what's really hurt Cleveland is just their defense. 21st in defensive rating. This was a team that was top 3 for the entire season. But again, it's just so hard to keep up that energy for the entire season. They were due for a little bit of a down spot, and I think that's what we're seeing. Meanwhile, the Heat are 13th. And but on offense, Cleveland has not stopped at all. Cleveland, number 1 offensive rating, Heat 21st. I'm going with the under again, 227.5. I think we saw this Cleveland team kind of get back to its roots a little bit with their defense against Detroit. They only allowed 91 points. We did talk about how it was a little bit of a tired team, but Cleveland did what it was supposed to do, score 110, only allow 91 for an easy victory. Those games against Philadelphia and Houston, where the games were well into the 250s, but before that, against Houston, a 109-108 game, a 118-92 game, so way under those totals. And then you look at the Miami Heat. Listen, their last game was 125-119. That was a double overtime game where 28 points were scored in overtime. So you take off 28 points on that one, and it doesn't get near this 227 total. Before that, 106-97, not near that total. Before that, 125-96, not over. 116-107, not over. So I think Cleveland's going to get back to its defensive roots here. They're going to play good against the Miami Heat team who's playing scrappy, but again, they're coming off of a double overtime game. And we're looking at a player prop. Let's take a look at Ty Jerome under 6.5 rebounds plus assists. He's not in the starting lineup, so limits are going to be a little bit limited here. And he's only averaging 2.8 rebounds and 2.7 assists per month. He's gone under this in 4 out of the last 5 games, and he's only averaging 4.8 potential assists and 5 rebound chances. You got some big bodies in this game with Mobley, with Allen, with Adebayo. So don't expect a whole lot of activity from rebounds. So we'll take the under 6.5 rebounds plus assists for Ty Jerome in this game. We mentioned that we have a 30-day special that is over at my page over at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AL. This is not site-wide. This is just for myself and people that are interested in 30-day pass. We've knocked this thing down over 30%. We're on an insane run, guys, 20-4. And I talked about on WagerTalk today how we started off January really, really slow. In fact, we were down a bunch of units. Just in the last 8 days, we're up 28 units, though. We did a deep dive on our plays, figured out what was working. We leaned into that, and just over 8 days, we're up 28 units. We've got Super Bowl coming up. We've got our 5% UFC best bet that is coming up this weekend. We're on a just scorching hot run in NHL and NBA. So all those plays, all percentages are going to be included. My golf plays are going to be up there, and we do have a darts tournament that is starting on Thursday. I know everyone asks about darts. I never thought in a million years we would have this many people interested in darts plays, but we do have a darts tournament coming up, and then the Premier League starts first week of February. So while it may seem like sports are slowing down, there's no more NFL except for the Super Bowl, no more college football. This is where we thrive. These sports that are off the beaten path, that are off the radar, this is how we build bankrolls, and we've been doing it for years. Number 1 on WagerTalk the last 2 years, up over 205 units the last 2 years, and up 28 units the last 8 days. So giving you short-term success or giving you long-term success, and we want you to be a part of it. So we're knocking down the price of a 30-day pass down to over 30% off. Just go to wt.buzz/AL. We bet all of our plays with our own money. We know you treat your bankroll like a business. So do we. So we can help you build your bankroll. We've been doing this for years, guys. So take advantage of that. We don't run a lot of 30-day specials that often, so take advantage of that. That's going to do it for us, guys. Let's cash a couple unders in the NBA tonight. Let's take a look at Ty Jerome under his rebounds and assists. It's an under type of day, apparently. So good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone later.